controversy, information, the truth, and the laws on Anonuk Radio, UK,
You need an army.
That's it. An electronic army. If I were us, I'd get on the internet, send out a major distress signal.
Hackers of the world unite.
That's my eye, man, right? You can sit at home and do, like, absolutely nothing, and your name goes through, like, 17 computers a day. 1984, you're right, man. That's a typo. Orwell's here now. He's living large. We have no names, man. No names. We are nameless.
Well, let me explain the New World Order. Governments and corporations need people like you and me. We are samurai, the keyboard cowboys, and all those other people out there who have no idea what's going on are the cattle. Moo. I need your help. You need my help. Let me help you earn your spurs.
Hackers of the world unite. Hackers of the world unite.
Hi, good evening and welcome to a special Sunday evening show, which we don't normally host on a Sunday evening. Tonight is the the chat that we're going to be having with the Stinson Hunter. Most of us who are tuned in tonight are avid fans of the man himself and the work that he does. But tonight, yes, we have the urban legend, the modern day hero that is the freelance press man, the online pedo hunter, beast hunter, nonce hunter. In my mind, he's a fucking hero, and the guy needs support and all that, you know. So all I'm gonna do is whack on a couple of tunes, right, just to warm us up a little bit, and then we'll bring him in, and I'll give him a little tinkle on Skype. Lovely gentleman, and the information that he carries and the work he does needs to be spread as much as possible. And if we can assist him in any small way, because I'm happy to do so and happy to promote his work. He's a genuine guy, and I've got a lot of love and respect for the work he does and his team and the people that have helped him out in the past. This is Anonuk Radio, so what we're going to do is start off with Proverbs and the UK. Why not? One of our favourite tracks here. So kick back, enjoy, and we'll be back after this track.
Proverbs, it's your world, I'm just living in it. This is the UK. So I don't care what they're telling me, they can never take my integrity. I've got everything that I will ever need. So stop selling dreams, cause we marching through a time that is lost in a land that will never sleep. This is the UK, the home of the brave. We're just an empire built on the shoulders of slaves, and the Irish people that came on the boats and the trains. And with the British working classes took a hold of the reins, and then we built this city out of riches that we robbed and stole. It seemed as though we were all fighting for a common goal, but somewhere we gave away our freedom and we lost control. They came and gave us all despair, and we were promised hope. The paranoia spread and you could catch it like the common cold. Blocked in our boxes, we decided we don't wanna know. I swear, man, you reap what you sow when you bring up a generation through the TV at home. How can we respect that older generation and be standing proud if this is what we're doing to the legacy they handed down? And when the planet falls apart and we just stand around, they don't understand me when I say it's time for action now. It's your world, I'm just living in it. This is the UK, this is the UK. It's your world, I'm just living in it. This is the UK, this is the I swear I don't care what they're telling me, they can never take my integrity. I've got everything that I will ever need. So stop selling dreams, cause we marching through this time that is lost in a land that will never sleep. This is the UK where nothing is free. I seen the streets running red with the blood that we bleed. And when the war's breaking out between the thugs and the thieves, we got the guns and drugs to go make all the funds that we need. We just a tiny little island made of hope and belief, that when they made a superpower through control of the sea, we went and conquered half the planet with the boats in our fleet, and bought democracy and came and took control of the sheep. But then the violence started spreading, there was plagues on the street, no capability to fight or try contain the disease. The people starved, the whole nation fell and came to its knees, and there was riots in the cities full of hatred and greed. But the poor people looked to soar away in the means, to rise up out of all this poverty, a way they could feed their people and their families and just escape from the grief. But it was never that simple, life ain't what it seems. It's your world, I'm just living in it. This is the UK, this is the UK. It's your world, I'm just living in it. This is the UK, this is the UK. I don't care what they're telling me, they can never take my integrity. I've got everything that I will ever need. So stop selling dreams, cause we marching through a town that is lost in a land that will never sleep. And maybe we all like digging our graves, but life changes every moment a decision is made. So how comes we decide to live in prison this way? It's like we can't rely on our religious system system today, because there's so much corruption in the system and chain. There's no way to tell apart the shit that's stick in your brain. It's just a whole load of information deeply ingrained into our way of life to keep us afraid. And let me tell you right now, there's a few things I've been meaning to say. I ain't perfect, but we gotta find an easier way. How do we lose out in life for not achieving the grade? It's no wonder that I'm angry, so I'm feeling betrayed. So putting pen to the paper, that's what's keeping me sane. What's in my stairwells, people sticking needles in veins. And every day I see the people life needed to save. So I'm writing this for freedom, hope you feeling the same. It's your world, I'm just living in it. This is the UK, this is the UK. It's your world, I'm just living in it. Proverbs, you can find me at the city limits.
Free thinkers, Hyperboreans, builders of the future. We are anonymous, because many of you seem to think the very fact of our existence is indeed rather confusing. We would like to take this opportunity to elucidate to you what it is anonymousism does exactly, what it means we are anonymous, what it is we're aiming at, and what is our ontological status. Now, first and foremost, it is important to realize that anonymous, in fact, does not exist. It is just an idea, an internet meme, that can be appropriated by anyone, anytime to rally for a common cause that's in the benefit of humankind. This means anyone can launch a new ideological message or campaign under the banner of anonymous. Anyone can take up a leading role in the spreading of the anon consciousness. Whether or not these appropriations are legitimate is decided by the rest of the internet citizenry. If the majority of the public agrees with a proposed appropriation, then the public will act. If the majority of the public disagrees with a proposed appropriation, then the public will protest and label the message in question as illegitimate and thus not representative of the values of Anonymous. This makes Anonymous the first truly democratic endeavor in the world. It is a beehive where the queen is missing, yet buzzing with activity in every possible form, direction, shape and color one could possibly imagine. This does not mean, however, that there can't be bad factions presented as coming from Anonymous, just as with bad speech though. We believe the solution to these issues is not less speech, but more speech, not less or restrictive faction, but more and constructive faction. Anonymous believes the only legitimate form of power is that power which rests on widespread public consent. And so there is not one person or group of people who can ever claim to be anonymous. Anonymous is not a political current, nor is it based on a political current. Some may say that it's anarchism, liberalism, communism, libertarianism, etc. Others say it's nothing but a bunch of 12-year-olds from 4chan having fun on the internet. Anonymous is none of those, yet it encompasses elements of all these things and many, many more. Anonymous is the people and the people is anonymous. Anonymous is anything and everything, anyone and everyone, anywhere and everywhere. Moreover, anyone taking part in the actions of Anonymous endeavors to defend an idea through anonymous collective action, and not to promote themselves as some kind of hero or savior of the world. Anonymous, therefore, is not about personal achievement and recognition. It is about accomplishing goals for the betterment of humankind, together, as a species. The internet has changed the way we look at each other and the world. New technology has enabled people to communicate faster and more often. Anonymous realizes that this freedom of information makes people more free to decide what they like or disagree with. This freedom of information has forever changed how society perceives consensus, democracy, transparency, and freedom itself. Never before has society been able to have these debates 24 hours a day, at all locations at the same time. Anonymous applauds these developments and will defend humanity against anyone willing to take this newfound freedom away. We do not forgive censorship, and we do not forget that knowledge is free. Moreover, we are legion, so we will not be denied. The more they repress us, the more we will fight back. Because we are more than one. Because they can find and persecute one man or woman fighting for a cause, but not hundreds of thousands of people all across the globe, fighting for a more just and transparent society. Now please take up your personal responsibility. Show the world some loving and be anonymous. We're anonymous, and so are you. Knowledge is free.
Anonymous Radio.
I've been watching you. Join Ajax, Anonuk, and friends. On Anonymous Radio, UK, IRE.
It's your fear.
Did I kill him?
We are anonymous. We are legion. We do not forgive. We do not forget. Expect us.
Hi, and welcome back to AjacxUK Radio with me, AJ. I'm just going to go and going to get straight into the mix, and we're going to give Stinson Hunter a little tinkle on the old Skypey thingamajiggabob. What I will say once again, thank you very much for joining us. We are live in the Hive on AnonukRadio Radio with the urban legend, the modern day hero, that is known as the Stinson Hunter. Let's just give us a little tinkle. Make sure I get my levels right as well. We don't want me levels wrong. Gone for a pee. Hi, Stinson.
Hello, mate.
Hi, AJ here. How you doing, bro?
Yeah, I'm good, mate, thanks.
I just want to say thank you so much for coming on tonight, man, and sparing your time considering you're not feeling too well. We'll try not to keep you too long, though, because I know you're not feeling well and you're just like out your deathbed sort of thing with man flu and stuff, as we do.
Yeah, I know, mate. Yeah, cheers, man. Thanks for having me, man. It's I know you've tried to get me before, but it's just been one of them things. I think we've just missed each other and stuff, but it's pretty cool that finally getting around to doing it, man.
Yeah, timelines move so fast on Twitter these days. It's just sometimes it's impossible to catch everything, and I know what it's like, and I've got to admit, I have been after you for a while to come on.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
And this morning I just seen you tweet out, and I thought, right, am I going to just do a little tweet back? And you were on it, and I'm ever so grateful, mate, to have you on here, because most of us are like, it's going to be talking to the bloody, the already educated in that, but I think the information and the education that you're doing out there on the internet about exposing these type of people is just second to none. I mean, why aren't the police doing stuff like this publicly and posting their evidence like this? I mean, some people may criticize you for posting the evidence because they believe that it ruins the evidence, but it's for educational purposes, isn't it, as well, as much as getting the bad guy?
Yeah, I mean, it initially started out in my bedroom, about, was it 5 years ago, something like that, and it just started out as just as an experiment, just to see if someone would believe something like that, and then it progressed, and then it got to the point where it wasn't so much about handing the stuff into the police. That sort of came later on down the line. It was more to show people what was going on, not only in their kids' bedrooms or in the kids' schools, but like literally in their kids' hands while they're eating their dinner with their family, or sat on their laptop with their family. It was to show people that these people are next door to you, these people are talking to your kids, and then obviously it followed up with there was massive media exposure last January, when I caught a guy and the police tracked me down, and they were like, look, we can't really stop you doing it. There's not a lot you're doing. You're not breaking any laws, but we'd like it if you handed the information in. So I was just like, well, that is the most obvious, mature, responsible thing to do. Instead of, I could have just been like, no, I'm doing this like renegade. You can't, I'm not going to do anything like that. And that wouldn't, it wouldn't serve a purpose for me to have said, no, I'm not going to hand the information in. Any normal person that has this information in their hand should hand it into the police. So, and the only reason I hadn't approached the police before was really because I didn't really, I understood the law, and I was 99% sure that I wasn't breaking any laws. But that 1% of doubt is always the major player in any thought process in my mind. If I've got 1% of doubt, then I question it. And
there's always that thing as well with the police, if they're suspecting you've been involved in something like that in any form, then they're going to take your kit off you as well. You know, there's always that worry, isn't there?
Yeah, and that was obviously a concern. And you know, when the police turned up to my house, I wasn't in. I was out. Me and my friend, it was actually my ex-fiance. We were really good friends, like, and we'd met up because I'd not long moved back to you know, where me and her used to live, and I had a phone call, and it was like, oh, the police are here, and I was like, oh, right, are they going to arrest me? And they were like, no, they're not going to arrest you. And I was like, look, tell them if they're going to arrest me, I will hand myself into the police station in the morning with a solicitor, blah blah blah. Anyway, an officer come on the phone. It was a CID or one of them lot, and he was just like, look, you're not in any trouble. We just want to speak to you. I promise you, we're not going to arrest you. And I was like, look, I've got a witness here that's just heard you say that, and you know, her dad's a police officer, or an ex-police officer. So he kind of went on from that, and when we sort of had this agreement that I would voluntarily report a crime and hand in the information, as long as that if I'm reporting a crime, that during the process of me reporting a crime, that I would not be hindered or, you know, stopped from being able to lead a normal life, i.e. have my technology taken away from me. So, you know, and that was really important for me, and I would, you know, that was a real turning point, because at that point I was like, well, you know, it was a quick thinking sort of thing, but the thought process for me was like, I could say no and they could play hardball, take all my stuff off me and make my life a misery, and I can't really afford to keep buying new equipment, or I could just do the logical thing. So it just, you know, it made sense, man. It made sense to hand it in and do the right thing. But, you know, 12 months down the line, I'm being criticised by the police, but for the past 12 months, they've happily convicted people based on my evidence. And that's really, really rubbish.
See, I have to ask myself, when they're criticising you, is that mainly because they're embarrassed at the lack of the effort they're putting into it, and you're doing their job for them?
Do you know what it is? I don't think it's that. I think that's too obvious. I think that's a too obvious thing for people to throw at the police. I think that's just an easy weapon to use against the police. I think it stems from last year. I think it was December. It was either December or January. I could probably go through my Twitter feed and tell you when it was. I was talking to a guy, and it turned out after, you know, he kind of got spooked because I'm really on it with spelling. Like, you can tell the difference between if it was me texting someone or if it was Stubbsy texting someone, because my spelling's absolutely pretty much immaculate, whereas Stubbsy's is pretty bad, and that's his thing. That's how he's better at it than me. Sorry, I've lost my train of thought then.
You were on about when the police came round, and last December, it came to a head last year, December.
Oh yeah, that was it. Sorry, yeah. Sorry, I had accident, and since then my brain just goes to shit. Yeah, so I was talking to a guy, and he got spooked because I'd used really good spelling on a word that, you know, a 13 or 14-year-old, I can't remember how old I was, would use. Like, it's, you know, and I kind of realised when I sent the text, I was like, that was, you know, it was haven't. That's all it was. It was haven't, but I'd used. It was absolutely spot on. You know, it's you know, some kids get it wrong, and kids do get it wrong. You know, things like that they do. And he got spooked, and he started to go on about, you know, you've got to be careful online, like going all serious with me. So I then found him on Twitter, and I exposed him on Twitter, and then obviously put his picture on Facebook. As a result of this, information got back to me later on, you know, probably after 20 minutes of someone doing a little bit of searching, which is what I should have done. It was an error of mine. I dropped the ball on that. I should have searched him more. Turned out he was a former chief constable for the police.
Damn.
So you can understand, like, this happened in December, and then all of a sudden, January, the police are screaming for me to stop, you know, and that's where I think, you know, people, it's too easy for us to throw, you know, they're embarrassed, and, you know, people throw that a lot, and I'm not gonna diss the lower level police. The lower level police with me have been absolutely amazing. I will not have a bad word said about the lower level police that I've dealt with. They've been absolute legends. It's those up top. It's since I caught former Chief Constable Colin Phillips, it's since I caught him that it's all gone funny and the police have started playing silly buggers.
So it is due to embarrassing them, though, isn't it? Because you've embarrassed one of the high rankers, isn't it? So.
Well, I suppose to a degree, yeah, but I think it's more they want to shut me down because I'm getting closer to them and I'm not backing off, and they know that now I've caught a former chief constable that I'm going to constantly make a big song and dance about it, and they don't like that, man. They don't like it when I turn everything against them, when I turn, when the press, when they try and turn the public against me. With their stupid little tactics that always backfire, they don't like it, man. They just want me to go away because I'm getting too close to them, man. I think it's since then, I think he's got powers as a former chief constable, and he's like, look, we need to shut this guy down.
Yeah, I'd say without being too derogatory towards the police, I'm not anti-police, but I think that the old boys club and that, once you've been a chief constable, you're still part of your old boys club.
It's those up top, mate. It's them up top.
It's the rat. It's like a lot of people speculate about the rat-infested government and that with paedophiles and stuff as well. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
I guess we have to be. I mean, on here you can say what you want. We don't care. We don't have censorship.
Yeah.
But I try to refrain from blowing out false accusations because I do like to be factual, you know what I mean, before I start blowing things on air. And, because there's no point, just anybody can call anybody a pedo these days. It seems to be second nature. The first insult you get flung at you on the internet anyway.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I agree with you, absolutely agree with you. I mean, I don't accuse people. I show people what has happened, really. Like, that's all I do. I'm showing you this person. I'm not saying someone's a paedophile. I don't say that they're paedophiles.
It's a fine line, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, man. It really is. And what I'm doing is I'm showing people what, these people are talking to your kids like this, and this is wrong. It's not, this guy is a paedophile, this guy is this guy is that. It's saying, look, this guy has done this. This guy lives next door to you, and I'm showing everybody what is going on, whilst getting them, attempting to get them prosecuted. But some forces are a bit more difficult than others, such as West Midlands Police, which I've had no end of trouble with. With them, even police lying to the press. After I had a recording of them saying something that, they said at one point that they don't take the evidence seriously. There was a case where there was a guy. It was his name was Sam. There's two videos of two guys meeting involved with 11-year-old girls. There's Roger, who was a former Tory, and then he was a white guy, and then there was Sam, who was an Asian guy. Now we got that Sam to come and meet us. He wanted to meet us. He wanted to put his side of the story across, which was fair enough. He didn't turn up to meet that 11-year-old girl. But he groomed that 11-year-old girl. There was hard evidence to prove that he groomed that child. Now, what West Midlands Police did, this is a fact, absolute fact. What West Midlands Police did was take the evidence that we submitted that would have been dealt with by CID and said to two bobbies, two normal PCs, go and speak to this guy. That was all they did. Now, Chris Hansen, which is weird, like, it's ironic his name is Chris Hansen, the same as the TV presenter in America, but DCI Chris Hansen, whatever his name is, said that at one point he said that they don't take our evidence seriously and that they don't bother with it, and that was said to me, and Stubbsy was there as well, and it's really, really upsetting. And now this Channel 4 film's coming out, West Midlands Police are starting to get scared. There was a guy called Paul who's just been charged, which I actually need to post, well, now I've announced it on here, I don't need to bother. But it took them a year to even arrest the guy. West Midlands Police have only just started to get a bit itchy because they know this film's coming out, and they're only just starting to investigate crimes that we reported a year ago, which is a year too late because the guy's moved on now. He's probably deleted everything. They've left it a year before they've even looked at it and gone and arrested him. And it's taken them a year. But, Warwickshire Police have been awesome. I've got no complaints with Warwickshire Police or Lancashire Police. Those two forces have been absolutely amazing.
That's good to hear, man.
Yeah, man, but there's been a few that have been letdowns, man. I mean, I don't know if I'm speaking out of tune or not here, man, but what I'm saying about the police, but they really, really bugs me, and I've never got a platform really to sort of express my frustration with what I'm having to go through. You know, the last 12 months have been fine. You know, even when I got run over by a guy that turned up to meet a child for sex, you know, even the police came and visited me, you know, when I was in hospital to see if I was all right, you know, and it wasn't just a, you know, oh, we're coming to get statements. It was guys that I deal with, you know.
Yeah.
And then,
I guess
then it goes from that, you know, where they were really supportive and helping me through my rehabilitation. It was, you know, I'm still struggling now, but it's gone from that. So they've been told, you cannot even speak to this guy. You can't speak to this guy at all unless it's directly involved to a case. Like before, it was kind of, you know, we'd pass in the street. Oh, you're right. We can't do that now. Do you know what I mean? You can't. Yeah. There's none of that sort of up to dateness with what's going on. Is what I mean. We don't really get that anymore. We can't. You know, we haven't got that. We had a lot of stuff fed back to us, but now they've been told they can't tell us anything. You know, it makes it harder for me to report back to the public what is happening with these crimes that have been reported. You know, that's the really frustrating part, because we had a good working relationship, and granted, it wasn't a typical, you know, official working relationship. I'm a member of the public, but as a member of the public, I'm working with the police, and the police are working with me as a member of the public, reporting a crime. You know, and that's been stopped now, and that's really frustrating, because I can't tell anybody what's going on. I have to find out in the press, or maybe, you know, if victims of, you know, the witness support write to us to tell us, you know, if they remember to, you know. But that's the only way we find out. We find out days later, whereas before we'd find out the day someone got charged. We'd know as a witness in that crime. We were told probably the day before or something that guy was going to be charged. We knew that person was going to be charged, but now that's kind of all gone, which is really frustrating, because I like to keep people up to date with everything.
I mean, what you really need is, not what you need, because you're doing a fine job with just the little crew you've got, is some, like I think we were chatting earlier on, is some, like, to fucking actually have some financial backing into doing what you're doing, so you can carry on doing it, you know, and build a proper team. And actually, because what you're doing is not easy to do, and anybody, I don't want people to do, go out and start being a vigilante and catching pedos willy-nilly and thinking they can just repeat what you're doing, because what you're doing takes a lot of skill, a lot of practice, and a lot of careful communications as well. You know, and it can go very wrong as well, can't it? You know.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's been 2 incidents where something has happened, and there was one last year where it was actually when it was Grimes' second. Was it your second one or third one? Third one, wasn't it? Third. It was his third time lucky, right? And we met this guy. I'm laughing about it, but like, it was pretty gnarly at the time. But this guy turned up, and he come in the house, and he had a crowbar, man. Like, no, a tire iron. That's it, dude. Tire iron. That's it. He had a tire iron, and I was just like, wow. And then the only time I knew that any of us had been hit was kind of just around when Grime got hit. I didn't even realise that I'd been hit until I think it was the next day. I was in shock, because, you know, Grime's a bit younger than me, and I was just like, oh, panicked sort of thing. And then the second time, that was all fine though, you know, that was just a little bump and stuff. But the second time was pretty bad, like, weren't the best day of my life. It was, we went to go meet someone, and as I got out of the car, went up to the guy's car window, I was like, wind your window down please sir, wind your window down please sir. He then reversed, so as he's reversed, I've ran up, like, carried on after him on my toes sort of thing. And then it's just screeched the tyres, and I've just had this car in front of me, and so I've kind of just gone on the bonnet to sort of save myself from going under. And all I remember is sort of looking at Stubbsy and looking at Grime and thinking, oh, I've messed up here, lad, sort of thing. And then I was just like, wow, I'm coming off this car now, and that was it, man. That was the last thing I remember. And then I kind of woke up. This is actually the first time I've spoke about this publicly. I've just realised I've never really spoke about it much.
Yeah,
I don't really talk about it, so this is an exclusive. So it's kind of. So I woke. Next thing I know, I woke up in the ambulance, and I was just like panicked. Like I was crying. I was where my friends. I didn't know what had happened. I thought like I'd been kidnapped or something. Like proper panicked. Didn't have a clue. And then the dude in the ambulance was just like, "Oh, do you want some of this sort of thing?" And I was like, "What's that?" And he was like, "I'll help with the pain." So I was like, "Oh, go on then, mate." And then I woke up in the hospital, and it wasn't until really I remember little bits about the night. Like I remember I was trying to get out. I wanted to go back and see my dog, and then like I was just high on drugs and stuff. Like they just pumped me full of stuff because they thought I was a goner. Jesus. And then I woke up the next day, and I was just like, wow, I can't move, man. Like I couldn't move, literally, I couldn't move, and I was just crying. I was just like, oh no, I can't move. And I finally managed to. I realised I could move a little bit, so I was like, oh great, I'm not paralysed. And that was pretty grim, man. Like I'm not going to lie, that was pretty bad. And you know, at that moment, you know, when I woke up and I was in that predicament, you know, for a bit I was just like, why am I doing this? Like, why am I risking life and limb of myself? You know, for this, because you know, it was I got a lot of hate over it, man. I got quite a bit of nasty comments, man, when it happened. I still get them now.
One of the questions was by one of our hosts. She's just flagged it in the chat box. She says, "Do you get any negative comeback from neighbours and friends and family and the internet because of what you do?" And it's something we talked about earlier on as well.
Neighbours? How do you mean? Like of the guys we catch?
Like, do you get any negative feedback, like of your neighbours, friends, family, people from the internet? You know, because of what you're doing.
I mean, we don't do it where we live, sort of thing. So we don't, you know, it's kind of we don't live where we do it. So
yeah, so you don't shit on your own doorstep, so to speak.
No, we don't do that. So, but yeah, I mean, yeah, like I get a lot of hate. I get quite a lot of hate, and you know, it's mainly like sort of email stuff. You know, it's the bigots, man. They're the worst. Like, why don't you catch like Muslim grooming gangs? And it's like it doesn't work like that. I will catch whoever comes to me. I don't go to people. They come to me. I don't pick people on their colour or anything like that, man. That's just narrow-minded, man. That isn't what I'm about. You know, and I get a lot of hate over that, and then I get the old, oh, you got owned by a nonce, you got run over, and I get that quite a bit, but I'm gradually getting used to that one. But yeah, man, I mean, there's a bit, you know, we've had people, relatives of, like the guy that killed himself. Yeah, his former partner has got a vendetta against me, and you know, I think she thinks I set him up or whatever, but even the CPS said there was enough evidence to charge, you know. So, but other than that, man, it's pretty cool. Like, I've had friends of guys that I've caught, and they've emailed me, and you know, I had a guy 3 days ago, he emailed the website, and he was like, "Look, I really think, but I've never heard of you before. Just discovered you. You're amazing. Think what you guys do is spot on. But one of the pictures on the website has got me in it. Do you mind taking it down? Da da da." Or, you know, "Oh, you caught so and so, my next door neighbour. Oh, thank you so much for showing me what he's really like." You know, and we get positive feedback from people's like relatives, and you know, there's been one guy, and the police don't tell you this. There's been one guy that was caught by us, and it came out afterwards during the process of him being investigated for this crime that we caught him for. That there'd been other crimes before that had never been reported, but it spurred the victim on to report it, and apparently there was strong evidence to prove it. I think there was oh well, I can't really say what there was, but there was stuff to prove, like, and so that's, you know, and that's important. And there was another guy, David Cooper. I can talk about David Cooper because it's actually been dealt with by court and he has been convicted. But David Cooper, he was from the Neaton. He got caught doing stuff like talking to a girl, trying to meet a girl, and then in the process of him being investigated for that, they found indecent images on his phone and stuff. So and you know, and I've had their family, like, you know, not theirs, but I've had people's daughters say thank you. you know, thank you for showing, like, they've known what their dad's like, but nobody sort of listened to them. But now, like, there's been one, I'm not going to say which one it was, but there was one where the daughters were like, you know, you've shown us them. We were saying there was, not that they'd done anything to them, but that they knew there was something wrong with him. And we showed the public, we proved these girls right, sort of thing. So it's mixed, like, it's mixed when it comes to, you know, when you've exposed someone, the reaction you'll get from friends, family, neighbours, whatever. But yeah, I do get a bit of hate, but you get it with the territory though, don't you?
Yeah. How do you and your team actually deal with it mentally to stop it frying your brain? Because some of the messages and contacts you're having with these people, it must be pretty graphic, because I know the graphic material doesn't come from you, but I've seen your videos that they've sent you pictures of the penises, and that they've talked quite graphically as well and openly. And personally, just hearing that sort of stuff when you talk about it on your videos turns my stomach and spins my head.
Yeah,
and it's like it exhausts me watching your videos. If you watch 3 or 4 of them at once, yeah, you feel drained. So God knows how you manage.
Well, I mean, it's not. This isn't any secret now. You know, I did time. I was in prison for a long time for an arson on an empty building. And whilst I was in there, I went to a prison where it was a therapeutic community, and I had to listen to people saying how they raped people and how they did certain things and this, that, and the other. You know, so that kind of helped me sort of. I'm kind of not desensitized, but I've got a shield to it, so I kind of, it affects me, but it just dents the armour sort of thing. Do you get what I mean? It doesn't get into my, sometimes it has seeped into me. It's really, really tore me up. But you've got to think, when you're doing this, you've got to look at it with a work ethic. You've got to look at it as though you're doing something good. You can't let the emotions take over, you know, and I'm quite well adapted to that, you know, as is Stubbsy. Like, it's mainly me and Stubbsy that do the talking. I've got someone else, there's a girl that talks. She's married with kids. She does some of the talking sometimes. She's actually got a couple of convictions as a result of her talking, but we're all quite strong and we talk. If anything bothers us, well, Stubbsy will talk, the girl will talk, but I'm the quiet one that won't talk. Ironically, being technically the front man of this operation, you know, Stinson Hunter being my name.
Yeah.
You know, it's, you know, ironically, I'm the one that doesn't talk. I sort of go into myself a bit, and not necessarily to do with just the work, but you've got to think this went from being a thing that I could do every now and then, you know, a couple of 100 people liked my page, and it was, you know, and then it's gone from that to where we have to admin everything constantly. We have to watch what's going on, and we have to sort of be on it, and, you know, it's become a routine now, you know. And yeah, I mean, we're only small, we're only a really, really tiny unit, but we're sort of well oiled, you know. Stubbsy sort of is on a break. He's been on a break for a while. He's had to deal with some stuff, you know. We're still really good mates and stuff, but he's had to sort of take a sidestep, you know. So it's really, you know, there's Kev, you know, he's still floating about, and then there's me, there's Grime, and then there's Mark, who basically, Mark single-handedly runs the Facebook page, because if I'm honest with you, I hate Facebook. And I'm more of a Twitter guy.
It must be quite a busy page as well, because your Twitter's massive, isn't it? And so your Facebook's quite large as well, isn't it? So
Facebook's 124,000, I think. It's quite big.
I have enough problems managing my Twitter with 2,500 and the radio stuff.
14,000 nearly on my Twitter. It's Twitter's more easily to manage. You know, it's direct. It's Facebook. People can write really long comments, and I haven't got, you know, it's not being disrespectful to anybody. And I wish I had more time. I really do, but you know, you can't. There's only so much you can do in the day, and there's only so much you can read, and there's only so many people you can reply to, and that's why Mark is a legend. Mark is an absolute hero for running that page, man. He does a grand job on there, and he does it pretty much single-handedly. There's a girl that runs it as well. I'm not going to say her name, but she does a lot of hard work as well, you know. But Mark's on it all the time, you know, and you know, technically there's 3 of us constantly in communications with each other. we're a really good, well-oiled unit, and we work really, really, really well together. And you know, we have our ups and downs. Like me and Grime will argue all the time. He's like a little brother to me. I love him to death, man. Like, he winds me up something chronic though when he doesn't do stuff. He's sat there laughing, and I'm like giving him death eyes, man. Like the amount of times I've told him to fuck off, and that's it. Like,
he probably hears that every day on B or something. You know what I mean? It's like the War for Dr. Pack.
Yeah, like now I threatened to murder him and everything, and he just sits and laughs at me, and I'm like, I get even more angry because I'm like, I'm being serious. Like, you are really pissing me off, and he's like, ah!
See, that's the perfect kind of See, that's the kind of temperament you need, though. Somebody who just you can bounce off of and just vent a little bit and not take you too seriously, even when you're being serious.
Yeah, I mean, like me and him, like we know what each other's thinking. Like we know where we're going with something, man. We're on the same page with everything, but I'm a bit of a what's the word without being I'm a bit of a tyrant. I'm a bit bossy, man. I'm a bit like Iron Fist sort of thing. That's kind of like with testicles. Like I'm kind of like that a little bit, you know. But I like things done. I'm more of a time guy. Like Grime isn't time at all. Like if you tell him to meet you at one, he'll turn up. He'll still be in Skegness last year. Like, I swear to God, mate, this one time he made this joke about being in Skegness still, and it was about 3 months later, and it was just I can't remember the joke, but it was so funny. But the thing is, I am really bad for like, I want things done and I want it done now. Like, I know you can do that job in 10 minutes. Why is it taking you 2 weeks? And I mean, it's easy to say, oh, yeah, Stinson, do it yourself. I can't. I'm thick. Like, I can't. I rely on him. He is my right. He's like a part of my body, man. He helps me. He's like that part of the brain that doesn't work. I'm the guy that I'm the ideas and the doing and the getting things to happen, and he's the guy that makes it happen. And that's. Yeah,
I've got a big.
That's really good. We've got a really strong bond, man. Like we are tight, man. And
he's your wingman, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, it happened after the accident, man. After I got run over, man, that was a massive turning point for us. And that's when I realised I really want to work with this guy because he's got the same vision as me, but a little bit more warped than me, which adds to it, man. Like he has, we've both got a bit of a warped vision of stuff and. Look at things differently, and we want to really do some really amazing stuff in the future. And I can't imagine doing it with anyone other than him. But one day I think I might push him down the stairs.
Well, just so you know, right? You are doing something really amazing and beautiful right now, in the present, guys. There's not another crew out there like it. You know what I mean? It just isn't somebody doing it as well. Doing it as almost professionally as you guys are, and I think that's why you've earned respect across the internet as well. I do want to ask you one thing. What would you say to parents and that, and could you offer them any advice on how to keep an eye on the kids or how to prevent this sort of thing from happening? I mean, I don't know if you've actually done a keep your kids safe sort of thing on the net video or something as well, but I don't know, maybe one of your crew could help you out a bit if you're not that technically minded with it, but it might help, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that is definitely, I've said this, with me and Graham actually spoke about this the other day, like, we want to do a video to show people how to keep their kids safe online. It's something we really, it's, people ask it a lot, and it's like, well, the most logical thing to do with keeping your kids safe online is obviously knowing their passwords for everything. If they're on an iPhone, I'm not going to talk about Android because I'm clueless when it comes to that. I'm an Apple guy, but you can sign into multiple Apple IDs and stuff, and you can have their numbers come to that ID and this, that, and the other, and you can see what text messages are coming through and stuff. Things like that. I mean, I don't know how Android works, but that's something I could comment on. But and Facebook as well. Kids shouldn't be on Facebook, man. Like. Kids shouldn't be on Facebook. Even at 13, I don't think kids should be on Facebook. But if they are on Facebook, which is 13 is the limit, like that's where you can go on. If they are to go on Facebook, parents should be monitoring it. Parents should be like, right, you can go on Facebook for 1 hour, and for that 1 hour, I'm going to be checking on you every so often. Obviously, I'm not saying when they're 16, 17, they're 16, they're adult, well, not adults, but they're sort of, you can move out at 16, and I'm not saying, I'm on about your young kids, man, like your kids that aren't sort of going out into the big wide world, and we obviously still got to keep them safe, but it's more.
Well, that's it. I mean, it's like I do computers, right? And the first thing I do is when I get a computer in for a parent, it's a kid's computer, mum's brought it into me, I'll set up an admin account and set up parental controls for them and show them how to use it. Because near enough every Windows operating system, now we're not talking XP at all, and Linux systems and Mac systems all have built-in parental controls. You don't have to buy NetNanny or anything like that. Windows has its a very reasonable parental controls in it, and maybe showing people how to use them and set them up with, maybe your tech team could help you do a video on that, to run them through it, because that is in common in everyday computers and PCs that are sold to the home, and nobody's using them. Nobody. Well, even such a thing as Google Safe Search and getting your kid a Google account, and if they're using Chrome or Google, then putting it on Safe Search, and then you can track the history, you can save it automatically and track the history. Like if they've got make them a YouTube channel, then you can go and check their history as well of what they're watching. I mean, I know for a fact once that we checked my girlfriend's history, and her little girl was watching videos, trying to find videos of Justin Bieber stripping off. She was 8 years old, for crying out loud. Yeah. And mum had a heart attack, and I had to lecture mum. Well, not lecture her, but have a word, and sort of say, this is not right. We can do this to stop it, and stop her going to that, and putting in things like blocking over 18 stuff and all that, and just simple things like that make all the difference.
Do you know what, mate? You seem to know a lot about this. Maybe you and I should work on something for this, because Grime's got to do his other stuff. Yeah, we've got a lot of stuff to do. But I think you and I think if you've got time at any point, we should talk about this further, because I want to do something like that. But you know a lot more about it than me, and I think you and I should maybe put our heads together and work, maybe think of an idea. It's up to you. I think that even if you don't get directly involved, just bounce ideas off each other and stuff. Because
I can certainly make a
you know what you're talking about, mate. And when it comes to operating systems, things like that, I am thick, and man. Yeah, he's that guy, man. But you know what you talk. Maybe if you can talk to Grime, that'd work. You two work together. You two bounce ideas off, and then we can go from there. Because that's where I've struggled. That's where I've struggled with it. I wanted to do it, but it's like I want to make it, but I don't want to make it really cheesy. I want it to be shown in schools where kids are like, "Oh, this is actually all right. This isn't some really creepy sort of."
Yeah, exactly.
Commercial that they used to show me at school. And I'm 32, so the weird stuff they had in the 80s. They had Jimmy Savile, so it says it all, doesn't it? Really? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Rolf Harris, of course, as well.
Oh yeah, well, I don't want to talk about it. I'm absolutely heartbroken.
So, mate, me as well. I can't. Of all of them, I actually thought he's the one that's going to come out of the BBC U3 operation. And I know it's not been exclusively the BBC, but it just seems all the ones that have been found guilty from the BBC. I thought he's going to be the one that actually is innocent. And it's fucked my head over that he sent that letter of apology and everything.
Dude, there's more, but obviously there was a super injunction imposed, wasn't there? I'm not going to talk about the actual thing because I don't want to get myself in trouble. Yeah. But, there was. It's not unheard of that there was a. It's common knowledge on the internet. If anybody looks, there was a super injunction imposed on reporting of that Rolf Harris trial, and there's more, and it's really quite upsetting, man.
Is that the same super injunction against fucking McAlpine and Kenneth Clark and all them other pedos? Allegedly, of course.
Oh, yeah, obviously, allegedly, yeah. Allegedly. Yeah. Yeah, it's really sad. Don't, mate. I've got a free rein here,
mate. That's what it's all about.
I'm a guy that will just run and that's it. But I don't want to get any of us in any trouble.
Fuck with you, man. I've been there before. It's nice and cosy.
I don't know.
Wood Hill's my local, mate. Wood Hill's my local.
I've got to be out making sure everybody watches this film. Like if I'm in prison, I can't be making sure people know about this film that's coming out. It's.
I'm sure if you're in jail, Anonymous will be outside fucking protesting, bro.
Oh, yeah, I hope so. That'd be amazing. That's like Winston Green or something. Mm-hmm. That'd be amazing. I'd love to hear that. But the trouble is with people, mate, there's a lot of people that they're armchair supporters, and they'll say they'll do this and they say they'll do that, but they don't actually do anything. And that's, you know, and I'm not saying everybody should go out and do this, and I'm not saying that I'm any better than anyone for doing this, but you know, every little helps, man. Like, you know, I guarantee you people are, Stinson Hunter's a really good guy, but they don't check their kid's computer. They don't do anything. They you know, they might do it for a week. They might be like, oh, little Timmy, you are not allowed to go on the computer for such and such a time. And then after a week, it goes back to the norm. And I guarantee you that's what happens, man. And, you know, but I suppose, like, if it gets to, at least if it gets to one person and it helps one person, that's you know, I want to reach as many people as possible. You know, I want my Facebook page to be millions. I want everybody to know about it. I want everybody to be checking the computers. But, you know, at the end of the day, even if you help one kid, that's better than none. That's 1,000,000 times better than none.
No, that's exactly, mate. And I mean, Anonymous themselves have done a lot of operations in the past, and a couple of them have been quite successful. Operation Darknet. I mean, they even do what's called the annual trolls on, you know, these open chat clients like.
That's Grimes' thing, man. He's laughing. That's his thing.
You know, like,
if you want to talk about this, talk to him.
Amigo chat is like hilarious. You just go on and rustle jimmies and scare the living shit out of them. They go age, sex, location. You'll give them your age, sex, location. You're 12, 13, whatever, and they're on it like fucking Sonic. Like they can't wait. Yeah, like they're drilling at the mouth for it, and you can just, and that's it, instant. You just troll the shit out of them, and before you know it, Amigo's nice and free for a while. You know what I mean? It's got them off because they all chat to each other and say, "Oh shit, Anons are on there," or "This is on there," and you have to run around chasing them, and you fucking find them.
Yeah, I mean, I've noticed more recently, because obviously I do it in waves when I talk to these guys. But I've noticed more recently that a lot of guys don't respond as much. They read the message, but they don't respond. Or if they do, they're too young. But I'm not going to reveal how many I'm talking to at the minute. But it's quite worrying how many I'm actually talking to, and how many are actually going to extreme lengths to hide the relationship from their wife and stuff. You know, it's really. With one saying, "Oh, I'll buy you a phone so you can text me, so I can ring you and stuff." And I'm just like...
I mean, I know you hate Facebook. Sorry to change subject. I know you hate Facebook, but the one thing it does disgust me the most, that is, because Facebook's the world's busiest site, it also happens to be one of the world's biggest safe havens for pedo sites and pages, and Facebook are very apathetic in their reaction towards this. I mean... that's where I think the real education lies, is where at the parents is how bad Facebook really is and how little they actually do to support the parents, children, and you know these and making the pages more secure as well. You know,
I mean, sorry, go on.
It just shocks me that Facebook are actually, it's like they're allowing it to go on knowingly. It's like sick, and I can't comprehend it.
I've just thought of an idea, and I might be wrong, man. If anyone can enlighten me on this, email my website or something. But I don't know if it's relevant to where it's posted. Is it relevant from where it's posted from? Like if Facebook's in, I don't know, a country where, you know, nudity of a child is legal at 13 or something weird like that, and they post it in that country. Technically, I mean, it's wrong. For us, it's wrong. It is wrong. I do not want to see that. I don't. It shouldn't be on the internet. Full stop.
Right. Facebook's an American company, therefore comes under American law, international law, and local laws. So they have to abide by all of them. So even sort of like the NSA, I mean, they're reading everything anyway. We all know that. So why aren't they getting all the pedos? You know what I mean? GCHQ as well. Why aren't they getting all the pedos? If they know what everybody's doing, why aren't they doing something about it? Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. So, but also, you know, I think Facebook are the biggest den. Is the biggest den of it. They talk about the darknet, right? Fuck the darknet. That's just your
Facebook,
text.
Mate.
There's more of it on Facebook, and it is drowning in it because there are a few crews that are there to infect the brains with Facebook. I'm one of them, but I don't go hunting or nothing. But they do actively go out of their way and hunt these pages down every day, every second. You know what I mean? You've got OpSafe Kids as well for Anons, and they do an amazing job, absolutely outstanding. You know what I mean? And they report everything international to the international Interpol and everything. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I would love to go more international, but it's one of them. Though I don't really know the laws and stuff. You know, I mean,
yeah, it's something you're gonna have to.
The guys that do that stuff international, that know their stuff, man. Anyone that knows, like you, then just coming out with that about Facebook, the international law, blah blah blah. That just things like that really just interest me, man. The things like that really get me.
That's
Get me interested, man. And now my little head's ticking, thinking, oh, can I go abroad and do it now?
well, technically, it comes under international law. That's why we have Interpol, and Anon taught me how to internet. You know what I mean? I was a noob, but still am. But Anon taught me how to internet a lot better than what I used to be. So I'm grateful for that.
yeah.
Even though I'm technically not really anonymous, because everybody knows my name, and half of them have been here in the UK anyway. So it's like, you know, fucking, I'm not really anonymous. I'm just a massive fag supporter, I guess. You know? I've got a big mouth, so I've started the radio, you know, and that's how I kind of, you know, got on with it. Somebody thinks, right, I don't know if you know this character, and forgive me for sidetracking a little bit, but one of the guys listening tonight, right, I was having a chat with him earlier on, he's actually a personal friend as well, thinks you sound like a character called Bada Bing.
What? What's that?
Bada Bing. What's that from?
Bada Bing is a derp on Facebook, right, who spouts common law and stuff, and I've clarified that you're not Bada Bing and shit, right?
I'm clueless.
Yeah, he used to hang around with another dude called commonly known as Dom, who's probably the biggest sort of plague on the internet to avoid. He hates Anonymous but follows us everywhere. You know what I mean? So
I've heard of him.
Yeah, well, he used to be good friends with commonly known as Dom, until commonly known as Dom doxed him and said he was a weed-smoking junkie tramp who lived off the state or something like that. All irrelevant, because, you know, Dom's a grass and we all know that, but...
Well, I don't know.
Yeah, he's definitely a little snitch, yeah, he hates one of our hosts, Mark Edwards, who does the Mark of Respect show, who's currently off air because his four computers have been hacked to fuck in the last 9 months.
Shit.
They've destroyed the hardware on it, had to send them back to the manufacturers, and they said it's useless, it's a fucking paperweight.
No.
Well, like I was telling you earlier on, like our own forum, AnonUK, got attacked and DOSed by AjacxUK. Myself as well was kicked off there. The show gets regularly attacked. I'm surprised we're still on air tonight, actually, because fuckers don't like us on air. You know what I mean?
Drama with there on his laptop now, just to prove a point.
well, we are still live, and. Because I've got my stream still working, so it's kind of nice to be still. AjacxUK's let us stay live tonight, because we are going to protest them on the 30th of June, right on their doorstep in Cheltenham.
Oh, that's good. Oh, yeah.
I was just over anti-surveillance protest. If they can surveil us, well, we can do a radio show right out on their doorstep.
Exactly, man.
Well, with a bit of luck, and they don't block my signal.
Well, that's probably what they'll probably try something, mate.
I've got a few tricks up my sleeve, though. They're going to have to be ready for me. I'm quite good at doing live radio. I've done a live stream at the November the 5th protest in London from my phone, and that was in everybody's faces and the coppers, so... Yeah, I was the roving reporter.
Mate, you're a nightmare.
That I am. I create more trouble than we need sometimes, and you know, I guess that's how the radio got its reputation.
Yeah, you're a good person to have about, mate. You're a good person to have about.
We do have a wicked forum though, where you can communicate with us a bit better than Facebook and Twitter. We can chat privately. Or I don't know if your man knows about Unseen.
Alright, this is, if you're going to get technical...
No, I don't know if your man...
I'm going to pass on and move the mic so you can sort technical.
Right, do you know about the encrypted Icelandic chat? Unseen.is.
On what, sorry?
There's a fucking site called Unseen.is. It's Icelandic service, all encrypted chat.
Oh, like a massive encrypted server?
Yeah, it's 2064 encryption. It's all based in Iceland and stuff.
Oh, like some Kim.com shit.
Yeah, it's like that, but it's not. It is based. I think it is more or less the same. What do you call it? Rate or bit rate of encryption as Mega's got. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's got 256 megabyte encryption on that shit.
Yeah, man, that shit's good. I use Mega. It's one of my favourite sites.
I always use Mega. I used to use Mega Upload before it got taken down as well.
Me too, man. I cried the day that got took down. I literally.
I lost so much shit.
I shed tears.
Nothing illegal though, obviously.
No, nothing, of course. It's just fucking, we're definitely going to have to hook up. I reckon I can help out a bit with the technical videos. I can do tutorials. I've done a few, and I make a few videos before in the past. I don't know how much of your SRBT is, guys, but I'm happy to help out wherever I can, if I can.
If you can, I want to move this back over here now, because you're not talking crap I don't understand. Yeah, I mean, definitely, man. I mean, if there's anything that we can do, if anyone can help us and we can help them, obviously we can't. I need to stress this point: we cannot take on personal cases. I cannot go after people. I can't do it. I'm not allowed to do it, so I don't do it.
No.
So I cannot take on cases like that. But if there's anything that I can do, then I'll. If there's any way we can. Scratch each other's back, so to speak.
Of course, yeah, exactly.
All on the same side, man. This is the thing. I had this earlier, and I didn't really get to say it on Twitter because you and I were having a really good chat, pre-chat before this.
Yeah.
And it sort of blew up on Twitter a bit,
a little bit, yeah.
Whatever my political beliefs are, I don't make them known on Twitter or any social media. It's whatever my beliefs are my beliefs. If I believe in a government, if I don't believe in a government, that's irrelevant. And I made a joke about UKIP, like I'd make a joke about the BNP, like I'd make a joke about Labour, like I'd make a joke about Lib Dems or the Tories, like any political party I would make a joke about. Now all of a sudden, because I've made this joke about UKIP on the C-bomb, on this, that and the other, I'm just some wannabe journalist that the fame's gone to his head. And I'm like, no, A, I don't believe that I'm famous for a start. B, I have not said that my beliefs are this. You started getting racist, so I was just like, well, why are you being a moron? Like, I don't believe that racism has a place in society, And then I'm getting abused. Like, I'm like, really? You're abusing me because I've made a joke and I've not even said anything, And I can't remember what my point was, man, but I got really riled me up like earlier on when, it was just people just turn so quickly. Like 1 minute they can support you, and then that's my point. People say they're on your side and they support you, and then but as soon as you say something that they don't like, they turn and they don't expect it from me because I come across as
quite a nice chap.
I try and be a nice guy and a normal geezer, but I'm not going to bite my tongue on an opinion, or I'm not going to, not make a joke if I don't find it funny. I'm not going to go out to offend people. And all it was a UKIP leaflet next to an empty toilet roll saying I've run out of toilet paper or something along them lines. That was what it was.
Well, most of us said UKIP.
If it was a Labour leaflet, mate, I'd have done the same thing.
Well, I think that's fair play, though, isn't it? You got to have.
Man, and people,
if people get offended on the,
you're a lefty bastard. Oh, you should be dying the sword. And I'm like, really, mate? Like what? Because I don't use racial words. Because I don't abuse people because of where they're from. We don't own this country, man. We don't own this country. Who are we to say who can and can't come in this country? I'm not going to sit there and start getting all. Oh, don't even, I'm going to shut up now. I'll become off now. I've got a platform and I'm like, right.
But that's it, man. See, anytime you want to come on and have a wee rant and that, mate, we've got a great platform for it and we're always happy to have people on.
Like, it does piss me off, man. Like, because I don't agree with it, right, I'm not offended. I don't get offended by what people say, because anyone's entitled to their opinion, but just like they're entitled to their opinion about whatever they want to say about stuff, I'm going to say the same thing. I'm going to say my opinion.
But you're also entitled to tell them to fuck off as well.
I won't block them for that. I won't block them. I won't abuse them unless I'm being abused. And earlier I was abused because A, I made a joke about UKIP, and B, I pointed out that, someone was being a bit of a moron because they were using words that were pretty unacceptable. And that's just what I believe in society. I don't think as a civilized society we need to abuse people. I don't see the point in it. Like, I've done a lot of growing up over the years, and I used to be a little shit, and I'd just be a knob to whoever I could, and I'd just wind as many people up and be horrible. But you learn and you realise that we need to be a civilized society, and if we're horrible to people, that's why we're always fighting and wars and shit, man. We just need to just stop
I always say
bickering and being knobheads. You know what I mean?
When I always rant on the radio, I always say that it's too easy to be horrible to each other, and it takes real hard work and effort to actually go out your way and be nice to people. And that's what the problem is, that we are just too damn lazy to be nice anymore.
Totally.
We're just too lazy to make the effort to be nice to people, to stop ourselves just going to saying the first thing that comes to our heads. If you think fuck off, it doesn't mean you have to say it. You know, you can just say, oh, no worries bro, catch you later, you know what I mean? Something nice and polite and friendly with a half a smile on your face, you know, something that actually might make a difference to somebody's miserable life who's having a crap day.
Exactly, man. I mean, like, people do something to benefit themselves, you know, that's what people do. And throughout this time, you know, this has cost us more than what, you know, than whatever has come in, like a considerable amount more. Like, we are absolutely skint, and you've got to bear in mind there's only two of us that are paying for stuff, you know.
Do you have a PayPal account?
Themselves. But there was a group that piped up last year on the, you know, trying to cash in on it, like Let's Go Hunting they were called, and they were just trying to cash in, and that makes me sick, like masquerading as people trying to do something good when they're, you know, they're benefiting out of it. You know, if now at any point that I benefited from this, if someone said to me, oh Stinson, would you like this amount of money to do this, I'll be like, yes, because that's an opportunity for me to better myself as a person. I've worked for 18 months solid to do the right thing, you know, but with no gain at all, you know. And so if in the future that someone said to me, which there's a possibility that after this film comes out, someone's going to be like, oh, Stinson, would you like to work here? Would you like this? And I'll be like, hell yeah. Like, I can put this into the work that I've got planned for the future. Like, I've got so much. Like, this isn't going to stop. Like, this is just the start. I've got so much other stuff that's in the pipeline that obviously once the film comes out, that I can really talk about. I mean, I can talk about some of the stuff, but it's just, I don't think it's the right time to start talking about stuff.
No, maybe not. But in essence, though, bandwidth costs money. Websites cost money.
Yeah, man.
Electricity costs money. Like you were saying earlier on, fuel costs money. Have you never thought about putting up a wee donation button on your site so people can donate if they want to? You're not whoring yourself out, but it's there passively.
It's there, dude. We've got one. But we don't make a point of it, man.
So
like I was saying about this Let's Go Hunting, they were like, oh, donate to us, donate. We never have asked. There's two people that donate regularly. One name begins with an M. I'm not going to say his name, but MJ is his initials. Good guy, you know, every month manages to donate £10. There's another person that donates some money, but they have to forgive me for not remembering the name. The only reason I know the guy is because we've communicated via email. But the other person, you know, has donated a regular donation of another £10, and that's it. We don't ask for money, man. We don't. Occasionally, someone will donate a little bit, and we'll get a few quid here and a few quid there, but this isn't about the money, man. This has never been about the money. If you get donations, then awesome. Thank you very much for donating. We really, really appreciate it. Thank you. But if you don't, then thank you for watching the videos, and I hope you've learned something from it.
If you can just let me have a second here. Well, what I will say is, though, if any of you guys listening tonight do have a spare couple of quid and you want to donate that to the Stinson Hunter, then do go to his site and click that donate button, please. He's not asking, but I am, because things do cost money and they do need funding, and this is the kind of thing we need in this country. It needs to be funded, to have people like this man that we've got on the air tonight to be funded, and to have some sort of financial help, not a profit, but just to help cover the costs of what he's doing, to ensure him and his team are doing what they're doing and keep doing it. So if you do have a spare couple of quid or whatever, take a jump over, and thank you very much for your donation, guys. Much love to you.
Yeah, thank you. If anyone does donate, that would be.
That's all we ever can do. We're happy to give little shout outs, and that's a good worthy, honest causes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man, it's really, really appreciated. I mean, it's not something that we really push. I feel really uncomfortable with.
No, of course. I mean,
when it gets involved, man, I get really uncomfortable with this documentary. We did it for free. Like, we could have gone with. We were offered other companies, you know, we were offered people. Oh, yeah, we'll pay, you know. But we were like, no. We chose Dan Reed. We chose Channel 4 because it's the right thing to do. It's never been about the money, man. It's never, ever been about the money. You know, and we've proven that for the last 18 months, man. We don't, you know, whatever we make off, you know, AdSense or whatever, you know, it's maybe a couple of quid a month. But maybe it's literally, that doesn't even, what we get in doesn't pay for the internet. And then we've still got to fork out another 100 and odd quid for the server and everything.
Well, here's another little tip. If anybody who is skint and can't donate but wants to help in some small way, click the ads on the site. Quick visit to an ad ain't going to kill you. You know what I mean?
I can't condone that.
Right? I can though, because, you know, I'm a pirate. So if you want to do that, feel free to do it. You know, it's free will. You know what I mean? It
Yeah, exactly.
helps
Yeah,
the man.
it's free will. If someone chooses to like click that little flashing icon, then feel free to do so.
You know, I'm sure you'd be happy to do it. I'm quite happy to. Even on the YouTube videos, click the ads on it. You know, help the man out.
No, that's really appreciated. Any help, anything that anyone can do to help, man, is always appreciated.
It's the little things. Most of us are skint these days, you know, like yourself.
So hard times, man.
So at least you can do is click on an ad. You know what I mean?
I know. Look, mate, it's my accident really knocks me, man. Like that really. When I had 2 broken ankles, man, and head injuries and stuff, and it was that literally not just physically crippled me, but financially and everything else, man. It was just literally weren't back up, not even properly back on my feet now, and it's been like it's a year next month since it happened, and my ankles are still not 100%, so it's really, really, really difficult. There's not a lot I can do. You know, I'm sort of stuck doing, you know, what the bare minimums that I can do, sort of thing. So anything that comes in that takes a bit of strain off what we do and what we have to pay out, which is a considerable amount, it really does mean a lot, man.
Yeah,
I don't like begging for stuff, man.
You don't have to, mate. I'll do it for you. I'll do it for you. I'm happy to do it for you.
Man, I really appreciate it.
Quite a while now, and you know, more than happy to just ask the guys out there listening. I mean, we've done it before for our own operations, like OpSafe Winter, where we got quite a lot of money in and got weatherproof sleeping bags. We've done it in the past to get money for the radio to keep us on air, and you know, it works out quite well. But Anons and money, we tend not to get involved so much with it. But obviously, if people want to donate to a separate entity, that's fine. We just tend not to get involved because we have to be 100%, 1000% transparent about everything, and it's just a pain in the ass. And you're not allowed to be an eagle fag. You're not allowed to be. It's just pathetic sometimes. It's like a fucking playground. But yeah, you know, it's just all them complications. We just don't need to get involved in it. It ruins us, so we try not to get involved with it too much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
On our own doorstep, obviously. You know what I mean? It's just not good for us. Well, it's all right for me, but you know. So what we're doing now is I'm going to wind it up now, if you don't mind, because I know you're not. I know you've stayed up late tonight to just, you know, maybe not late as such. You know, I know you're an adult and stuff. But
I'm 32, mate. I'm not 12.
Yeah, exactly.
Can't act it.
Yeah, but you know, I don't want to keep you too late because you are not very well. You can keep too well.
Yeah,
so
cheers.
But what we're saying is, man, thank you very much. I mean, really, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. And we'll chat again soon during the week, mate, and see if I can help you out in some way.
Yeah, brilliant, man. Thank you very much for having me, man. It's been an absolute pleasure.
No, it's been our honour, mate, and thank you to Grime in the background as well, and Stubbsy's hard work as well, and the ones that we can't mention. Thank you to everybody in your crew, man. It's done all the hard work.
Thanks,
and
we all appreciate it. Thank you very much, man.
Cheers, man. Have a good night. You take care, Stinson.
And you. See you later, man.
Later, bro. Bye.
Bye.
There you go, folks. That's our modern day hero, in my opinion, is the Stinson Hunter, pedo hunter online dude. It's just going out of his way, and all that hard effort he's putting in. Take my hat off to the man in every way possible. I'm just gonna find the track and then we'll be right back. I never get a chance to say it, but anybody who's not listened to the radio station before, just remember that Anonymous is not all about hacking. Anonymous is about freedom of speech and learning, about education, about awakening. It's an idea, it's not a group. We have no leaders, even though I'm the leader fag on the radio. That's just a little affectionate tag they give me. So this is Faithless